First of all, being the last home game, I want to make sure I acknowledge three groups of people. One being our fans, of how they were terrific through this whole, obviously, transition and rough start to the season back in November and December. For them to be able to continue to show our support, their support for us, obviously means a lot. I thought they were terrific today. It was really loud in there, and I'm happy to be able to send them off in the last regular season game with a good taste in their mouth and happy. And the second group is obviously our support staff and my assistant coaching staff, of how they've done, and they've helped through this whole transition as well. From everybody in our office to, like I said, my assistant coaches, managers, everybody have been terrific. So, and my third group is obviously our players. I'm extremely proud of what they've accomplished, how they've grown, how they've matured. As I told them before the game, you remember what it was like to walk back in here after Western Illinois and Milwaukee and Marquette. And we've righted the ship. Let's make sure that we finish this home stand in our last regular season home game on the right note and go out of here with the right taste in our mouth. And for them to respond and how they played and worked, and hasn't always been a work of art, but they've always found a way since obviously early January, I think the last time when Maryland was in here. So that means a lot for them to rally and know that they want to protect the home court. And obviously you're sending out one senior on the right note, and it's nothing worse than losing on senior day, and nothing better than making sure you're winning on senior day. So with that, I'll take any of your questions you have.
Greg, I think they were season low 5 of 13 from 3. What were the keys on the perimeter, guarding them on the perimeter?
Sticking to our rules. We have within our system, we have rules of how we guard various actions on the perimeter. I thought we gave up 2 in transition in the first half. Some of that's due to offensive miscues. One of them was due to not matching, and we got 2 bunched up in transition. But I think trying to minimize opportunities, because that's a team that shoots it very well. And I've watched films of them shooting it, making 13, 14, 15 a game. And when they're able to do that, that really fuels what else they can do. And I thought we did, for the most part, especially having a lot of guys that have not guarded that system. Nigel and Bronson have, Zach has some, but the rest of them have not. And at times it showed. And obviously the scout team does a pretty good job of replicating it, but they can't run it at the same speed, and the timing is different. And I knew that would be an issue, and it was actually more of an issue in the second half on a couple slips that got to the rim than I thought it would be. But I thought for the most part we did a pretty good job of taking away what they like to go to that sets up threes, whether it's initial actions or making sure we didn't put ourselves in a situation where we had to help too much at the rim and therefore leave a shooter open. So I think it's best when we can minimize attempts. That obviously keeps your makes down too. So I was relatively pleased with how we defended the arc.
Greg, there's been a ton made about the swing and how that's helped the offense, but can you put into words how far defensively you guys have come in the last, I guess, 6-7 weeks?
Yeah, we've matured, I think, from understanding the chemistry. Everybody talks about offensive chemistry, or the ability to play together offensively, and the synchronization. I think that also has to mature defensively. And I think we've gotten better in terms of when to exchange screens, when not to. I think we've gotten better in terms of where to squeeze, and in terms of minimizing driving lines away from the ball. We've gotten better at chasing and not making as many mistakes prior to any cut taking place. We've gotten better in a lot of areas, maybe all of them. We've gotten better at putting pressure on the ball to make, try to disrupt some timing of offenses. But I still see a lot of areas where we can get better at. And by better, I mean more consistent. We have some breakdowns at times that we'll need to continue to improve upon.
Greg, you talked about your rough start to this year, but Nigel and Bronson didn't have the greatest start either, for given who they were and what their experience level. They were big for you in the second half here today. Well, how far have those guys come, and what kind of strides have they made, I guess?
Well, I think, first of all, they've become leaders in our locker room, and that was really where this all really, I think, the seed germinated first in the locker room. Here, I'm throwing out my ag background, seed germination. But that's where it started. If we don't mature and grow and become more cohesive off the floor, and specifically in the locker room, because that's obviously where all 17 congregate every day. We don't have the same results on the floor. So I think that's where it really started. And then obviously, I think their teammates have also improved, and it's helped take some of the pressure off them. Therefore, they've been in more advantageous situations. I think our ability to play inside out has helped Bronson. The threes that he is taking now are high percentage threes. The same thing with the threes Vito Brown is taking. Those are high percentage threes, and it's in large part because of the development of Nigel on the block and the development of Ethan on the block, and our unselfishness and our willingness to spread the floor, share the basketball, but understand too that we have to play inside out. If we can score inside and get to the free throw line, that makes us difficult to guard, and if team's going to commit extra help to that lane area, and we have to be able to be cognizant enough to recognize that and make sure, and also unselfish. You know, a team, you can say one thing about knocking down threes, but you have to be unselfish, and I think this group has really grown in that area. Again, that goes back to the whole locker room culture that's really improved.
Jeff? Greg Beeline pointed out you thought that you guys won a lot of battles for 50-50 balls, and there were probably 3 plays I'm thinking of. 2 saves by Bronson in the first half that led directly to hoops, and then Showalter and they breaking up a transition play. What's the effect of those plays in a game that was tight for the most part until the end?
I think anytime you can win those, what we call them plays that don't take talent, you know, that's an extra effort play. And those are, when the ball goes up, it's 50-50, a 50-50 ball. Unfortunately, we saved some mistakes in terms of passes we tried to make or positions we put ourselves in. You know, there's a teammate trying to help out another teammate and, you know, save the possession, so to speak. So I thought there were some extra effort plays, and we've done that throughout the year at various times, but those few in that first half were big.
Beck, how good does it feel with one game remaining?
I was just looking for my water up here. Usually I have a bottle.
End of the season.
Okay.
End of the season?
Yeah.
All right, out of water. All right, go ahead.
With one game remaining, how far the team has come, and you guys once again have an opportunity to finish in the top 4. And then one other question after that: how nice was it to get Jordan into the game and see him score a few points?
Did they cancel one of our other games? Do we have 2 left in the regular season?
Yes.
Right, we're at Minnesota and Purdue. Okay. So your question, obviously, the only thing that ends tonight is our ability to play at our home court. From now on, we're either at Minnesota, at Purdue, or on a neutral floor. So we have a lot of basketball hopefully in front of us, a lot of areas that we can improve upon and grow from. And I think there's obviously, I'll find 60 to 80 things, some positive, some not so positive on film, and show them tomorrow. And we'll look at improving and where areas we can get better. And then I think, obviously, to answer your question about Jordan, you know, he's committed a lot to this program. And anytime you have somebody come in and walk on, pay their own way to go to school here, and then decide to redshirt, so you stay another year, even though when he had come in with Frank and Trey Jackson, he gave up a chance to go out in a graduating class with those 2, and you leave that group you came in with. That tells a lot about his commitment to this place and how important this program is to him. So for him, you know, everybody always wants more minutes and more playing time, but for him to commit and sacrifice like he has, he's made great contributions that will never get in a box score or in the headlines to this program. And he's going to be extremely successful after college. He'll graduate here in a few months, and he's already got a job lined up and ready to go. And you know, he's obviously always welcome back. But he's made a huge contribution to this program and has helped, you know, solidify that locker room with a little more experience, especially this year, going through the growing pains we've gone through.
In front.
Coach 6 points in the paint in the first half and then 20 in the second half, including a string of, I think it was 7 straight layups that kind of sparked the run you guys went on there. Did you say anything at halftime to the guys, or what happened
Well,
there?
we still wanted to go back inside, and then in the first half, they really were aggressive with the double team, and especially on Ethan, to make it hard for him to make any plays. And we missed them. We left some points around the rim too, so that's a little skewed in terms of, you know, our attempt to go in there. But I thought the second half we did a better job of, for the most part, finishing around the rim, specifically Nigel. And then we got some drives to the rim. Bronson got there once. Shoei got there once. And then we were obviously able to knock down some threes, so that loosened things up a little bit too. And then that takes some of the pressure off and pulls more people away from the paint, so we can play more one-on-one inside. So I just think we did a better job. Ethan left some plays at some points at the rim that we'll find on film where some things he can be a little stronger with the ball, but for the most part, other than Showalter's 2 charges, I thought we did a pretty good job of making good decisions when we got it in there.
Tom? Zach?
Going off that question right there, how much better has this group gotten at listening to your second half adjustments and also implementing them in terms of getting the second half off on the right foot?
Well, there's typically not a whole lot of adjustments. It's more, let's do what we're doing better. It wasn't me, was it? It was back there. All right. Let's do what we're doing, what we try to do better. And I think that was the thing at halftime. It was probably more on what we needed to get better at defensively. And some of those things were, we adjusted where we were on the screen. Obviously twice in the second half we came up too high because we got beaten behind, but I think we just did a better job of finishing around the paint. We did a better job of playing inside out, and obviously it always looks better when the ball goes in. We had a lot of wide open looks the first half. Koenig's first three threes, I think were wide open, or 2 of the first 3, and he made the 3rd one. The last one I thought was a heat check 3, a little deep, but the shots we had in the first half were wide open. We just didn't knock as many down as, typically when you get a shot that wide open, you expect to knock it down. But again, they continue to battle and find a way, and sometimes it takes 20 minutes to figure out what another team is trying to do and get used to the tempo and the structure of everything and improving as the game goes on. I think that's the one thing that this group has done. Is I've talked to the bench as I walk up and down there is, let's make sure we're learning as the game goes on, and not wait till you get in there. So especially for younger guys going in, that we can't wait till you break a sweat in terms of picking up on things. I can't have you make 2 or 3 mistakes and, okay, now I know what it's like. Learn on the fly while you're watching, and this group is getting better at that.
Steve? Okay.
Greg, as you continue to make a case for this head coaching job, what does it mean to you to hear the student section chanting for you to get the job, to see some former players come out on social media, even writing about you earning this job? What does that mean to you?
I only heard the students chanting, "We want Jordan."
I've chanted too.
Were they chanting? What were they chanting?
Hire Greg Gard.
Really? That's a mouthful. Can we get that into a chant? I've said from day one, this is not about me. I told the team this is not an audition. I will coach them the same way whether I had 3 months to coach them or 10 years. So this has never been about me and never will be. It's about those 17 guys in that locker room and how they've responded, how they've worked, how they've listened, and adjusted to what we taught and learned on the fly. That's what you do as a coach. I've had blinders on here, tunnel vision, just trying to get this team to get better. And that's all we focused on, because I knew these guys, as I told them in the pregame, senior day, Charlie Thomas, how fast did your high school career go? He said, in a snap. I said, wait till you're a senior in college and you'll look back and see how fast it went. And I looked at Jordan, I said, hey, if you don't believe me, freshman, ask Jordan how fast this 5 years has gone. When you're a freshman, you go, man, I'm never gonna get to the end of that tunnel. But it goes fast. These guys only have a very small spot in college on their lifetime line. So for me, I've always been trying to make this experience for those 17 guys on this team as positive and as enjoyable as possible. So when Jordan Smith walks out of here in May and goes across that stage and gets his degree, he'll look back in his rearview mirror and say, you know what, if I could do it all over again, I'd go right back to Wisconsin. So that's all I've ever been concerned about. In terms of the search and everything, Coach Alvarez has handled this thing absolutely perfectly. He said from day one, I need to do a national search, I need to post the job, that's university requirements, and I've never, if you look at my quotes back in June, I've totally agreed with that, and I always have. And he'll do his job along with the committee and the athletic board and the board of regents and the chancellor, and they'll decide in what direction they want to go. I've only focused on trying to make sure these guys have a great experience, and I think they're having a great experience. Thanks, Coach. All right.